The second part of chapter 8 is a bit more useful and starts filling in some of the other kind of irregularities you get in Greek. The first is the verb to be. This is always irregular in all languages because it's so common it's end up squished. The present goes Amy, A-S-D, Esmen, Esther, AC. And you will see there are movable news available on SD and AC. The future takes the same endings as the middle on the end of the root S. So S omai, S air, esetai, esometha, esesthe, esontai. So if you've learned your middle endings, then you will know the future of the verb to be. Amy's weird, SMY straightforward. There is only one past tense for the verb to be, and that's labelled imperfect. You were, that's a fundamentally continuous thing. That's not an aorist idea, it's an imperfect idea. The imperfect is a past continuous tense. These endings, amen, es, an, amen, ete, eson. This is slightly different to classical Greek. Classical Greek goes an, esther, an. So you will see both sets of endings being used sometimes, but you should learn the ones in red that I've put on the main thing and just remember that there are other possibilities. So this is a verb to learn. You don't see the verb to be all that much other than the really obvious forms like an, SD and AC. Those are the bits that you really need to know because they crop up in storytelling. There are a couple of nouns that are worth learning because they don't do quite what you expect for their patterns. You've learned first declension nouns like archer or doxa or hermera. They all end in some kind of A or E and have the article her in front of them. There are, however, a few nouns where that is not quite true. I've given you an example in mathertes. Mathertes declines like this. It's almost identical. In the genitive, it suddenly switches to an U, and that gives you a hint as to what's going on here. This is a masculine word, so the article is going to be ho, ton, tu, tor, hoi, tus, ton, tois. This is words like prophetes, a prophet, nautes, a sailor. They are male occupations, or what we call agent nouns. They do things. And it's a whole class of words, mathertes means disciple, that fall into the first declension but are masculine. So keep an eye on those. You should be able to see what's going on from the article. Conversely, you've learned logos and ergon. Hologos, to ergon. Masculine, neuter. There are a few nouns, 3 of which were introduced here, where they are feminine nouns in the second declension. This is eremos, desert, Aegyptos, Egypt, and hodos, road or way. This matters because when you start wanting to use adjectives with them, you've got to remember what gender they are, not what endings they look like they have. So I've put a couple of examples here with using kalos and a range of nouns to show you how this might work. You're going to end up with hair, caler, forner as a straightforward first declension feminine. Ho, kalos, mathertes, first declension, masculine. Ho, kalos, oikos, second declension, masculine. And hair, kaler, hodos, second declension, feminine. So usually your article and adjective will be reflected in the ending of the noun. Hair, kaler, phonair, ho, kalos, oikos. But sometimes, if there's this small class of words where they're masculine nouns in the first declension or feminine nouns in the second declension, there's going to be a mismatch in what they look like on the page. You're going to have to think more about their grammatical categories than just what they look like on the page.